Welcome back to This Week in Indies. You know they say that the riches and spoils go to those who diversify. So what does it mean for those of us blessed with a creative mind? Can we do the same creatively? Can multiple pursuits lead to betterment? Or is it okay to just have hobbies that supplement the main creative goal? We will discuss with our panel. Lucille Cannon will be along with indie books you might enjoy if you're a fan of Circus of Wonders by Elizabeth McNeil. Then we epilogue 20 questions for the panel to guess which creative genius I have dawned this week. Finally, we will take a look ahead at what is on tap for Go Indie Now, programming-wise. So grab your favorite creative instrument and get ready to jam with the band that is This Week in Indies with your host, Joe Compton. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to This Week in Indies, my first of 2025. So I'm real excited about that. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're really appreciative of that. I love having you all here, and we've got a really great discussion ahead, talking a little bit of creativity. JD Estrevada is already breaking the fourth wall. Spoiler alert, JD's on the panel. And then Thrall to the Dusk. Hello, my friends. Nice to see you. And everybody else out there, let us know you're out there and come and join the chat. There's Ariel. Hi, Ariel. Nice to see you. All right. And we're going to be chatting with these lovely folks today. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all.
Hello.
Welcome to our show. Let's go around the room, say hello. So, Anita, start us off, please.
Hi, I'm Anita Stewart. I write under A.F. Stewart, fantasy, horror, poetry, cozy mystery, steampunk, and probably another genre too I'm forgetting. And I also host a bunch of shows and podcasts, do interviews, and in spirit of this show, I do art. So that's me.
Awesome. All right, Mr. Hillman.
SM Hillman, professionally, Sean, unprofessionally, I guess. And you can find me on the web here at Go Indie Now as a host and sometimes panelist here. And I also I got into writing and into game design, role-playing game design at about the same age. So I've been doing both for a very long time now.
Right. Welcome. All right, Mr. Green.
Hello, I'm Dave Green. I am in Galway, in Ireland. I write epic fantasy, urban fantasy, cozy fantasy, and for the purposes of today's discussion, I have an art degree, so I do that as well.
Mr. Estrada?
Greetings, fellow humans. I'm a Puerto Rican freezing his nuts off in Atlanta, but it's always time to go indie now, so let's take a sip and see of this. Does that help? Yeah, it helps. Yeah, it helps, because if you're going to go indie, you got to go indie all the way, and I'm stuck midway. I feel the heat. The Puerto Rican-ness is just coming out because of that. So, yes, I'm the resident Puerto Rican for Go Indie Now. I am an indie author. For some reason, I decided to move to Atlanta. I got 22 books out. I love creativity so much that even my day job has to do with creativity because I work in advertising. But I also play music, and I also do a lot of random stuff because if you can create.
That's cool.
And this is a shirt from a friend in advertising. His name is Freddy Fajardo. He's a Colombian brother from another mother, and I'm wishing him all the health because he's beaten cancer twice.
Oh, nice. Awesome. All right. Well, this is an interesting idea, right? Because, look, for purposes of what we do here, most of us have pursued authoring as the career aspect of our creativity aspect and game. But there are other pursuits out there, and you know, some of them yield financial rewards, some of them yield other rewards. And I'm curious to start this conversation about what you value most with creativity. Is it what you can do, what how you can pursue each art form to the nth degree? Is it the just opportunity to dabble and play around and have hobbies? How do you view the multiple streams of creativity that constantly bombard you all the time as being creative creatures?
I I
Anybody?
can start.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Um, okay, so I brand myself as a creativity ambassador. So beyond using creativity as an outlet to express myself, it's also means to get an income, but it's also a means to heal and to think creatively in terms of solutions. People think that math and engineering are like drab and bland, but when you have that knowledge and you apply them creatively, that's where solutions come from. So for me, creativity goes across the board. It's not just to express ourselves and express art. In terms of what I do creatively in my day job, when I'm able to flex my muscles and have fun, I love to play in the sandbox. And you can do some really fun things. When it comes to my work and the things that I do for social media, the idea is to play and to have fun because the day job offers me the liberty to express myself freely. So the books that I put out are the ones that resonate with me, are the projects that I'm totally driven to do, and people get that. People don't get me ever writing for the market or this is selling. It's not like I'm gonna write a romantasy right now because it's selling and it's the new buzzword, etc. And in terms of just again, creative solutions. There are so many times that I have a problem in real life that I have to use my video game brain to solve. And if I've learned anything is that if you see a couple of bricks askew, you need a bomb because there is a treasure chest behind it.
Um, I think for me, being an introvert, writing and gaming were ways that I could interact with people. Well, writing not really interact with people, but get things out of my head. But gaming was something I could do to interact with people in a way that was less stressful. Um, and the one thing that I've really learned about pursuing creative outlets outside of your main career is the fact that it does allow you to meet people, at the very least have some level of understanding of who you are and what you do. Now, they may be recidivists who you wish you hadn't met, because unfortunately, all along the line, you find people who share your interests but don't necessarily share your view on life or how to treat people. But regardless of that, um, the creativity has allowed me to meet, to meet lots of friends, to connect with people, um, to become a convention organizer and volunteer. To well, I mean, I've fallen in love with several people I met through gaming and writing and stuff like that. So it's it improves your life. I feel like those things improve your life. To and add positivity, especially the generation I grew up with still has and doesn't have a fully understand a lot of the social and mental health issue or issues that we grew up with, which were either largely explained or just medicated away. Um, and so it's it helps you understand yourself. I think creativity does help you understand yourself, much like meditation would. It's a kind of meditation, right? I think that's probably a good way to put it. Creativity, your creative outlets are a kind of meditation. Zen in the art of rolling dice. So,
Nice.
Yeah, for me, art is like that too. a lot more relaxing for me than writing is. I mean, writing for me is it's creating a new world, right?
Mhm.
Creating my story the way I want to tell it. But art is a lot more for me like reinterpreting what's already there. It's like taking a flower and recreating it, reinterpreting it in the art piece. And it's a lot more meditative and a lot more calming for me. Like I can sit down to do art and think, well, I'll just do it for 30 minutes, 60 minutes. And then 3 hours later, I wake up, I look up at the clock and it doesn't feel like 3 hours. Writing is a lot more, the clock is more in my head, I think, with the writing than with the art, which is why I try not to do any art after 10 p.m. because I'll be up till 1 a.m. if I do that. So I think it's far more of a Zen activity for me than writing is.
What was the question again? Sorry.
Stop multitasking.
Yeah. So how do you view the other creative pursuits that you look at? Are you,
Okay. Yeah.
are you looking at them more financially wise, or what do they mean to you in terms of?
Yeah, I think I think it's funny because I was just doing some writing sprints with some people earlier today because it's later on in the day here. I'm in the future from all you guys. It's still very mundane and terrible and terrifying. Yeah, it's that thing. I think when you are like a creative person, and it's to be creative then becomes a need. Like you have this. It's like not like a drug or anything like that, but it's something that spurs you on to do things. So if you do choose to pursue something creative as a career, there is still that need to kind of fill up your free time with creativity as well. So it doesn't sort of thing that you love the kind of most, and you pursue the career doesn't become stale or fractured, I suppose. With like, because I mean, obviously with writing, there's so much rejection involved in writing. There's so much disappointment. There's so much uncertainty and doubt and everything like that. So you kind of want to kind of back that up and bolster it with things that you still really really enjoy and you're just doing just for you. Because the thing is with anything that you choose to do creativity wise that you are kind of presenting to other people, you are putting it into the world and you are then hearing their feedback and you're hearing their reaction to it and their relationship to the art that you've created. So sometimes it's nice just to kind of do stuff that is just for you, that is not going to go anywhere. Or as like the other people said, stuff that's going to be within like a small group. So that would be like, like a TTRPG campaign, or it would be, a piece of music or something like that. But I think there is always that drive where there is that need to be creative. And I think creativity creates more creativity. So it'll help if you kind of the main pursuit that you're doing and you kind of hit a bit of a, I don't really like to call them I don't really like to say writer's block anymore. I prefer to say creativity drain. And if you are kind of feeling that, something like going off and doing something else that is equally as creative but just for fun and just for you can sometimes kind of reinvigorate and refill that well that you can go back to and draw from.
Nice. Jenna says art is a meditation on life. So where's the line when because like I don't know about anybody else, but the first time I picked up a camera or I thought about making a movie, right? The end goal was just to make something, right? That was the very first pursuit, was to go out there and just make something. And but hell, if anybody saw it, in fact, probably didn't want anybody to see it, which is why they're buried deep into the soils of the earth. Nobody will ever find them unless you can go deep into a volcano. But then it became, for me, it became okay. next step. I made a movie. Now, can I make one that actually people can see? Can I make one that will actually make money? So when do you decide that the creative output, the endeavor that you may have started as a hobby, becomes more than that for you? Where's the line?
Well, for me, with the art, it's separation of mediums.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the painting, like watercolor painting, oil painting that I do, that's just my hobby, right? That's just for me. That's practice to see if I'm to get better. It's just to relax, whatever. The vector art part of it, where I'm using Affinity Designer, that's the stuff that I'm putting up on the mugs and the t-shirts and the whatnot. That's where I'm striving to get better and better and better and better and better to sell the product. So it's kind of a separation of mediums for me as to what I'm using for selling purposes and what I'm using for just creativity purposes. Although it is very relaxing and creative to do the vector art stuff too. That's ultimately the ultimate goal there, is to make stuff to sell.
Was that the vector art, was that born out of you doing watercolor and stuff like that and painting? Did you feel like, well, maybe I because I'm doing this, I can do this? Or was it just you aimed at that pursuit of the vector art and doing that?
Well, in a way, because I was doing the traditional stuff, but you can't really take the traditional stuff and put it in a digital format very easily. So I thought, well, I'll try and see if I can, do digital painting, learn how to do digital painting, right?
Mhm.
Which, by the way, I'm still trying to learn because that is difficult. Um, so that's how the vector art came about, because I was having difficulty transitioning the brain from the traditional painting to the digital painting. um, but the vector art, for my brain at least, was a lot easier to learn, a lot easier to figure out, because it's all shapes and lines and stuff like that, so it's easier to put together in a lot of ways,
Gotcha.
because you're using tools more than you're using digital painting techniques.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the vector art came out of it, because I've found it a lot easier to learn, a lot easier to do.
Yeah, I asked that question because like this has happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to all of us here. Like you show somebody something you're just messing around with, right? And they go, "Oh, you're good at that. You should pursue that, right?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, give me money, I'll do it. Go ahead." But yeah, but
Yeah,
100%.
well, I don't believe people who tell me that.
right, exactly, right. That's why I was
Okay.
asked.
Okay, so in terms of creativity, for me, a lot of it is to connect with people. And the thing is that sometimes, from what I do, some things sell easier than others. And I think anyone who has multiple books is going to experience that. Some of my books, just by explaining the elevator pitch, people go like, "I'm sold."
Yeah,
And there's others where the quality of writing is there, but for some reason it doesn't move. Either the reading level is not doesn't appeal, or it's short stories and people that's a harder sell, stuff like that. But I've had people follow me and read me and engage with me and support me because of the randomest things. I do have like a weekly uh, calendar of random stuff that I post. And to give you an example of how different it is, so I do something called visual typos.
and I'll put you on the screen big. Hang on.
Okay. So I just take a word, mess it up, and then do a visual with it. The idea is the crappier the visual, the better, because this is not meant to be high art or fine art or anything. It's just meant to be cheeky. I have a fascination with tea right now. I'm having rooibos tea. So I have the Dictionary. There's some people that follow me and have connected with me because of that. I do sky thoughts, which are more inspirational quotes. I do sock it to me, and people sometimes know me just because of socks. And the amount of times people send me pictures of a sock store because they thought of me is ridiculous. I do double O bananas. Some people follow me because of that. And to give you an example to where the creativity reaches to, I do several posts toasting to my mom. She passed away in 2019, and I still do Cheers Mama Estrada posts. I connected with a fellow author in Puerto Rico because of those posts, because she was like, who's this kid who's toasting to his mom? And we've become very good friends. Joe, that would be Sandra. Sandra read me for the first time because of the Cheers Mama Estrada posts. So all of these creative things helps me to connect with. I have small pockets of people all around. And sometimes people say that I'm a jack of all trades, and I'd rather be a joker of all trades, because I wanna flex my abilities and whatever talent I have to be the best fit to whatever scenario. If I have to take the lead, I will be a king or an ace. And if I have to, step back, I'll be a 2 or a 3 easy. So I like that scalability. And again, with social media, I try to have fun. And because I have fun, people get to know who I am and my sense of humor, and they see some random stuff. And they connect with the randomest things. And I don't feel like, A, I'm a one-trick pony, which I couldn't deal with, and B, that I'm ever getting stale. So if something's not flowing, I'll just flip the channel and do something that's flowing all right. And that, in turn, helps me to keep creating in other things. If I do something that flows and it's silly, etc., I'm relaxed, I'm happy, I got my shot of dopamine, and I can sit down and write or edit.
Okay, so where does music fall for you? Because you did not mention at all the fact that you're one talented motherfucker. And
I am very self-conscious with my music. I am very private with my music. It's something that I have performed live 3 times in my life. One in high school because someone from another class needed someone to sing a song, and I did. At my wedding for my wife, and she didn't know that I was going to do it. And at a book event in Puerto Rico, ideally I would love that to be the format. Music is very important to me, and what I write and what I compose and the lyrics that I write down are extremely personal, and it's something that I couldn't slog away at different bars and have people talk over me while I'm playing music or toss beer cans or quarters. That would happen once, and I would stop doing it.
Yeah.
So being at a book event, talking about books, and then playing 2 or 3 songs is the ideal scenario of my wet dream as an author and a creator. And I did it at the Poets Passage, and it was a lot of fun, and people didn't expect that. And I messed up most of the songs at least once just because I don't practice. And people were like, that was pretty good. And I'm like, I'm happy because I practice, but not that much. And I am very, very self-conscious. So when I sing in front of people, it's me facing fears constantly, because it's not stage fright. It's just super self-consciousness. Because as soon as I start, I settle into the groove, even if I'm talking or singing or whatnot. And I once won a karaoke competition, and that's still one of my claims to fame.
Nice. Awesome. All right, David, how about for you, man? What's the line for you? You're an art major. I'm sure that comes in very handy.
Yeah, it's funny because I could teach art. I have all I have the qualifications.
Isn't that the only thing you could do with that degree, basically?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I could probably get some kind of a job in a museum,
like an appraisal in a museum or something like that, right?
Or yeah. But it was funny because I actually wanted to do it. Because I wanted to do film, and so when I was in university, that's what you had, unless you went to a film school, which there was only one of in the UK at the time. And it was in London. It was very, very expensive to go into, well beyond my meager means of a working class northwest of England person. So I went and did an art degree instead at a university, and that's what you had to do if you wanted to do film. It was part of that, and then you could choose it. You had to do different modules and different things and what have you, and then you could choose for your dissertation what you wanted to do. So mine was film. So that's what I kind of wanted to do. But but then it was one of those things where it's like it's done. It's like, well, I'm not really sure what to do with this now. Like, and I was like, do I want to be an art teacher? And I was like, I'm not particularly sure that I want to be. If anything, in terms of teaching, I would have wanted to have been a history teacher because I have a history degree as well. Because I do really like history, but I just didn't go down that path. And it was one of those things where I had this thing that I could, I'm a pretty good artist, I'm a pretty good painter, I'm pretty good at all that kind of stuff. But it was the writing was the thing that always kind of called to me, and it was with that it was that kind of thought of, well, if I'm going to spend all this time writing these stories, then I should really be writing them to show them to people, like, but and I'm quite content with all the other stuff that I can do, like, I like map art. I like to design maps. I like to do it just for myself. I draw them just to kind of to chill out. I can do other things like that, and I'm quite content just to leave that for myself, But with the writing, it was kind of like that thing where it was like, oh, there should be a purpose to this as well, and because it just kind of felt like I'm not going to read them once I finish writing them. So someone should read them, and I'm quite into. I do like collaboration when it comes to creativity, and that's goes with writing as well. Like, I really enjoy the developmental editing stage of writing, probably more than any other part of it. I like to kind of work with someone and kind of look at stuff and have that kind of making the story the best possible story that it can be at that stage. So I think if you kind of start pursuing that, then it's like, well, you should kind of see it through to the natural conclusion.
Sure.
And so so that's it. It's just a matter of contentment, really. It's just that it's I just had this need of like, well, I've told this story, so I would like other people to read it, even though that it brings so much of the stuff of like of having to confront the fact that other people are going to look at stuff. But when the other things, I've always just been very, very content to just be like, well, this is just something for me. I have no real need for people to see it or any drive for it.
Do you read the stuff you ghostwrite when it gets published?
No. I mean, I occasionally have to read some of my own stuff because I have to, you go back and check out certain things. But I've got into the habit.
You're rebuilding your series now, so yeah, I can imagine you had to read.
Yeah. So I did. Yeah. So I rewrote the first book that I wrote, and that was line by line rewrite, and I added in new chapters and what have you. But it was line by line. It was a strange exercise because there was enough distance where I could look at it and it was like someone else had written it and I was just developing it. But instead of like putting notes to say maybe you should do this and maybe you should do that, I was also doing the work. So I was doing the notes and doing the work at the same time, and it's been fun. But I got into the habit of a while ago. I got into the habit instead of having to go back and read my own work, I create like wiki files for everything, and then I can go in and so anything that's important I put into a wiki file, and then when I'm going back to work, I can just go up and check it, click a link and get into it and find it, and it saves my embarrassment of reading my own work to myself, which is good. This works for me. Oh, well, I have proof. I have proof copy for that. So
this is why I don't watch my own stuff or read my own work either. This right here, yeah, because I will find something that is wrong and want to fix it, and as testament to the idea that I was supposed to release a Words That Kill episode 2 days ago, and every time I rewatch it, I find something new that I want to fix. So that's what happens with that. Sean, you want to chime in?
Yeah, so I've always wanted to be a bass player, but I haven't found enough momentum to be any good at it. Although I would like to, at one time, I'd like to perform live just once, right?
Let's make it happen.
I know. But the difference, like between that, which has been something that I've always wanted to do, but haven't quite I've got a very little talent for that. So I've got to build on what I have. The first game I have or ever played was the D&D Moldvay Purple box set. People know what I talk about. About 6 months after that, I dissected the game and I made changes to it. Right, so I'm a very precocious 10-year-old redesigning a game of these older people who put a lot of time and effort into it, and I learned a lot from doing that, and that's why that clicked, because it wasn't just I redid it and then forgot about it, or I redid it and showed it to my friends and then we played it or whatever. I redid it and I learned something about game design, right, just by myself. So that was why I've continued to sort of pursue that, because I realized that maybe I have a little talent for it, but a little bit more than, say, playing the bass. So for me, that's the thing. The writing was the same way. It wasn't just, it was multiple people telling you, oh, that's good, that's really good. And people enjoying the things that I designed on the TTRPGs. So that encouragement and looking at it and seeing, yeah, you know what, this is pretty good. And then comparing it to other things and saying, yeah, I think this is as good as this, or maybe even better than this, leads you to, or has led me to, peers in both writing and game design who are happily critical of my work. And that criticism has, again, helped me to elevate what I do. And I think that, for me, that's been the thing, right? Finding the thing that I'm a little bit good at, good enough that people notice, good enough that people are willing to give you feedback. And in some cases, pay money for, right? In both those cases. And it's been a struggle, but I've never once regretted the struggle in either thing. And I don't regret time I spent with the bass either. It just hasn't produced yet what I would like to do as far as that goes.
I'm getting this warm and fuzzy feeling, since the two of you musical performers are in the same city. Impromptu concert, multiverse maybe, or Jordan Con.
We'll see.
Little jam band.
I will say though,
I will be filming that. If that happens, just know I will be filming it. Probably broadcasting it live. But
I will not commit myself to shit.
I did write a song though for.
I'll have the captain bring a guitar and just show up with it. she'll hide it in the back seat or something.
She's on my side. She won't do that.
And I was pretty proud of that when a friend asked me to help write a song. We created a progressive tune for the band he was in. And so that was a lot of fun, actually going back and listening to prog rock. I mean, like, okay, what do I have to hit here in the lyrics to make this work? And that was a nice 6 months of working on that I was really proud of. Really proud of that song. That was another thing I did. Again, though, it was like, hey, here's some good feedback, and that creative process, like what David was talking about, the collaborative process, created something I'm really proud of. So that maybe that's it. Like the thing that you can work with other people on kind of propels you to do it more and more and more.
Sure, yeah. A.L. Mangold chimed in and said, I've been touring shows lately and combining my books with pop culture, which I found draw people in through something mainstream and discover books that way. I also connect with different audiences through vlogging. Several vlog series on my YouTube channel have earned readers that way. Yeah, he's got a really good vlog, everybody. If you haven't checked out A.M. Mangold, I would definitely do that. As JD Strada mentions, I've seen your Boba and Books shows. It's a hell of a combo. And then he said he did the Florida Classic in November. Books and football, what a combination. Yeah, that's how it goes. Is there a recording? Yeah. Is there a recording, Sean? JD is asking you a question.
Yeah, they did a whole album. I'll try to find the link and I'll post it.
All
So,
right, cool.
yep.
Awesome. That'd be awesome.
I did not sing or anything on that. Just to be sure, I just
All
wrote
right.
the lyrics.
Fair enough. All right. So we're going to jump into another indie connection and, creativity abound. It's a circus of wonders, everybody.
Hey guys, C.O. Cannon here from Fiction Atlas Press, bringing you another Indie Connection. Today I'd like to tell you about some indie books that you might enjoy if you're a fan of Circus of Wonders by Elizabeth McNeil. The first book I have for you is called Enter the Dreamer by S.A. Bastido. At a circus where no one is as they seem, 17-year-old Cash must decide who he can trust and how much he is willing to risk for friends, family, and his own freedom. After 7 years at the circus, Orphan Cash finally manages to prove himself from animal attendant to headlining acrobat, but the excitement is short-lived. When an accident during practice leaves him searching for answers, Cash discovers that his friends are keeping dangerous, supernatural secrets. Even more startling, their secrets are connected to the unnerving dreams he has had his entire life. Just as he is getting used to his new understanding of reality, a rival circus appears and threatens the circus he knows and loves. Livelihoods and lives are on the line as Cash and his motley crew band together to reclaim their rightful places and toss out the scoundrels who invaded their circus. Cash finally has a chance to be the hero, but only if he trusts in the gift he still isn't sure he believes in. The circus may look grand and glorious on the outside, but inside the big red tent, all hell is about to break loose. The second book I have for you is called Avery's Ghost by Annie Dewell. The circus keeps its secrets. When 17-year-old Evelyn is accidentally poisoned, her only hope for an antidote is to sign the curious contract of Hart's Circus, the same place her brother vanished. As she investigates her new canvas home, she's consumed by questions no Carney will answer. Why did the performers lie about their uncanny performances? What caused the hideous scars of Essence, the sideshow freak who draws portraits so vivid they nearly leap from the page? Terrified into attempted escape by the tempestuous manager Hart, Evelyn is stopped by paralyzing pain. Undeterred, she'll cajole and blackmail her way to the truth behind the circus mysteries and her brother's disappearance. Truths that will uncover long-buried secrets and catapult her into the crossfire of a plot with explosive consequences. The third book I have for you is called A Spectacle of Souls by Jessica Julian. Caitlin is a small-town waitress, living an average life, except for the frequent headaches and vivid daydreams that plague her. When a mysterious circus arrives in town, she is immediately drawn to its strangeness and finds herself at a hypnotist show where a seer warns her of a gruesome fate if she doesn't stay away. Before she can listen, Caitlin finds herself ensnared in the show with the ringmaster himself. Recognizing that Caitlin's oddities mask a secret hidden deep within her mind, one that can defeat even the cleverest of psychics, the ringmaster believes they are the powers he has been searching for and is determined to claim them as his own. Trapped within the circus at the ringmaster's devious grip, Caitlin realizes that to escape the seer's foretold fate, her only choice is to fight. Banding together with Bevier, an imprisoned psychic, Meg, an eccentric seamstress, and Daniel, a handsome magician, Caitlin falls into the psychic realm to thwart the ringmaster. Caitlin and her unlikely group of newfound friends must stop the show before they succumb to his control and are trapped forever in his spectacle of souls. And the last book I have for you is called Circus of Puppets by Anna Moore. Welcome to the Circus of Puppets. Here you can win everything or lose your soul.
You're muted, Joe.
Having lived all his life on the streets, 19-year-old Vin has nothing to lose when he joins the mysterious night circus. With everything to win, he takes on a series of gruesome games in the hope that the director will use his magic to bring his deceased brother back to life. But there's a catch. If Vin loses, he'll forfeit his very soul. He gains new hope when he meets Kira, a seasoned performer who has traveled with the troupe for years. Their friendship blossoms into something more as they work together to win the games and unravel the mysteries of the circus. But can Kira help Vin save his brother, or will he be forced to sacrifice his soul? Okay, that's all for me this week. I'll see you next week on the Indie Connection. Bye!
That was the Indie Connection. Okay. That was the Indie Connection, everybody. Thank you for joining us on that. Thank you to CL Cannon for doing that. Check out those wonderful books and the great circus of craziness that were those wonderful titles. All right. So I wanted to kind of round out the conversation by talking about the fears around creativity, right? We've kind of touched on it already a little bit, but I'm curious about, is there pursuits that you look at now because you have reached other creative outlets, you've done other creative things? Are pursuits for creativity now more of a dare for you? Are there something you will do because you know you can just do it in the background and you don't have to worry about anybody ever seeing it or touching it? Or are there pursuits that you just don't want to do at all because you just feel like you're just going to be super terrible at them and you won't do them no matter who sees them or doesn't see them? Have you guys drawn, is there a line for you in that aspect in the sand?
It's not really that I wouldn't be any good at them. I'm perfectly happy not to be good at something, you know. doesn't really bother me. It's just some things just don't. I mean, as much as I like to be creative, there are just some things that just don't interest me at all, you know. And I don't mean, and it's stuff that is perfectly great for other people. Like, you know, I've had to do knitting and sewing in the past, you know, but it's not something that I enjoy. It's not something that I would do for enjoyment, right? And people find great enjoyment in that, and that's completely fine, you know. So it's just a matter of like, I just don't really have any interest in it, or I've tried it once and it just didn't work for me, or anything. And it's, you know, there's so many, writing books and then the whole business that goes around writing books is quite time consuming, right? There's a lot, you know, it takes a long time to write a book, and then the whole thing about getting all the covers and editing and like selling the book, and then the conventions that you go to, and so on and so on. So you know, your time is there's only 24 hours in a day, like, you know, that's just the way it is. So you can't, for me, I kind of know the things that I like to do that bring me joy and bring me pleasure, and I find relaxing, that are still creative, and I will focus on those. And it's not just creative things either, you know. There's other things that I like to do, like I like to ride horses, and you know, I find that just a great escape to go and do. It's not creative or anything like that, but it's something that can help with creativity, because you know, you're out in the countryside and you know, no technology around or anything like that, and you unlock something in your brain where you kind of think and you lose yourself in the thing, you know. So there's other things that you can do that are completely not creative that will help you with creative endeavors, which I prefer to do stuff that I don't like. I'm quite happy to do things that I'm not very good at. You know, I'm completely like, I'm not very good at Elden Ring or Dark Souls games, but I will play them because I enjoy them. But I am absolutely brutal at them. But that doesn't bother me. I don't have to be good at them.
You don't have to tell me about it takes a village to make a book, because you're talking to the Metallica of book publishing here, where I put out a book every 4 years. So. How about for everybody else? Where's the lens in the sand for you in terms of what you'll try or not try?
I'm with David that it's not a matter of what I won't and will not try. It's a matter of whether I'm interested in trying it. Because it doesn't matter what you're trying for the first time. If you've never tried it before, you're going to suck at it. So, I mean, you only get good at something by repeated practice with creative endeavors. So, that whether or not I'm good at it or not doesn't factor into it for me. It's whether or not it's going to hold my interest, whether I'm going to enjoy it or not. And I'm also with David on the sewing and the knitting. I don't enjoy those either.
I'm probably third on that list as well. I'll third that.
We need some positive sewing energy.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
Sowing the seeds of love.
head over to the Writing Troop Twitch sprints on Wednesday and Thursday. You'll get lots of knitting and crochet energy over there.
Yeah.
For me, it's all about if it piques my interest and I find the means to do it, I will. And that's why I played guitar and sang at that book event. I'm like, I want to see how it feels like, how it feels, and I was like, man, this is fun. And that applies to most artistic things because I think that in many things I could surprise myself, and I just do enjoy the process and the learning process and knowing when to lead, knowing when to be led. And I have random ass ideas in my brain that I'm like, you know what, I would do that. There's a song by Scott Weiland that I would love to be the main person in a music video for that song, just because I have a visual and I wouldn't want to capture it the way that I have it. Again, working in advertising and having so many creative outlets, you go like, okay, I could do that. Would I also act? I might act if I find something that I go like, hey, that's interesting, and someone sees in me something that they go like, hey, you did this or that, and I think you could be good in this, and it's like, okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? The same if like a candy bar company was like, hey, we want to do R&D and you taste some pretty random stuff. Do you have an hour to talk? I would probably talk to them for 4 hours. Again, it's all about opportunities presenting themselves. And what I might limit myself is when I see that something would take up all of my time, or my participation would just impact everything else. That's when I would be more wary. I would love to be able to write the story for a video game, but not be in every single detail of the development of the game. Just because I love video games and I would love to participate in something like that. And yes, I would want to give, constructive feedback in terms of gameplay, controls, and stuff like that, even music. But I don't want to be in every single thing because I've seen the amount of time that it takes. I've seen the effort that it takes, and it is daunting. And again, I don't want something that is going to impact my day-to-day to where I can't be a good friend, a good son, good husband, a good anything. So that would be that. Someone asked me if I would ever do stand-up. I might. I don't think it's the best time to be a stand-up comedian for whatever reason. And I don't think that community is as welcoming as you might think, or at least it doesn't look as welcoming today as it did 20, 30 years ago, where it was more niche. And because they had to grind it out so much, there was more camaraderie, or that's the impression that I get.
You want to talk about, Anita was talking about, you have to do it more and more to get better. That is one of those mediums, the stand-up comedian, that they go out there and they have to take abusive shit from the audience, from other comedians, from club owners, and
have people steal your best material.
Yeah, you have to be really.
Lord.
Yeah, that is a grinder that, yeah, that's just horrible. All right, Sean?
So, I think for me, I look at a lot of creative things and I sort of put them into boxes. Boxes which, with a little work might be feasible, and boxes with a little work still wouldn't be feasible. I'd like to direct a film one day. I'd like to screenwrite. I'd like to playwright. I'd like to write a play and maybe even direct a play. These are things that are sort of like realm of feasibility because they're related to what I already do. But like, I wish I was better with my hands. I was a maintenance man in a hotel for a time in Ocean City, Maryland. And I really enjoyed doing the work, but I was not inspired at it, right? Like, I could fix the wall socket or the air conditioning vent, but I couldn't make magic with it. I have a friend who is fantastic with his hands, and he makes magic with wood and other things all the time. I'm just like, I'm amazed at what you can do. So I kind of wish I was a little bit better in that regard, but I realize that it's just not my strength, right? I can lift heavy objects. That's as much contribution as I'm going to give to like building a house in the woods kind of things. Like I'll lift the heavy objects to the site, you put it together. So I think just feasibility, and now that I'm a parent, now that I'm a parent, not a parent, I'm a parent. I'm curious about my child's creative pursuits, and I'm invested in whatever she might want to do, right? And then helping that. So that does take up some time, and I'm okay with that, right? Because my parents were did encourage creativity. My mother, in particular, encouraged my writing all the time. So I want to do the same, right? So, but that means that some of my time that could be spent either relaxing or otherwise would be is going to be spent for her. That's okay. I'm okay with that.
You find the same, David, with your son?
Yeah, it's interesting to see like what he's into. He's really, and it's funny. He's really into drawing. He's really into art, and that's not something that I kind of pushed him into or anything like that. I'm quite happy for him to find his own interests. But he won an art competition last year for his age group in Ireland, which was great. And because he's artistic as well, so it's great for him to get that kind of external validation, because there's a lot of things where we were talking earlier about not enjoying, thinking you're not going to be good at something. That's a big barrier to him, and I suppose it was for me when I was younger as well. So to get that kind of thing to say you actually are really good at this, it's been great for him. So he loves drawing. He is very, very funny because he's always kind of like, oh, when I'm older, I can draw the pictures for your books and stuff like that, which is like lovely. And I'm like, but it's good. He's into it, so I'll encourage it. But it's not something that like I think it's good for him to find his own path and his own interests, And it's just my job to kind of support that.
Which takes up more of your time, right? And less.
It does. But what's nice though is that like drawing is very, very consuming. So he's very, very quiet when he's doing it, and he's very just gets engrossed in it. And then it's like, well, if he's going to go and do that, I can go and do this.
Yeah,
and then we can go up and compare notes afterwards.
My daughter recently got into rerooting the hair in her dolls, which is something I could never do. And I was like, people do that? They take the hair of these dolls, they put new hair in. I'm like, but she's good at it, right? She's watched a lot of YouTube and everything like that. I'm like, okay, I'm amazed by this, but it's also a little creepy that you're rerooting the hair, but that's okay. But yeah, like Dave was saying, they find their own. They're finding their own pursuits, and it's good to encourage that.
That's awesome. I will say, as somebody who wanted to be a better director, I pursued acting for a while to do that. I went to improv classes, I went to acting classes, and something that struck me when I did that, as I was doing it purely just to get a better perspective on actors and to how to deal with actors and figure that out and be a better director. But when I did that, I found I really enjoyed it. I've got a face for radio, so it's that's just the way it works. But the thing that struck me is when you get to a certain point in doing those things, when you pursue those things, the pursuit people start to notice your passion for the pursuit, and they go, you know what you should do, and that led me to audition for plays and movies and stuff like that, because that was the next step in an evolution of an actor. If you want to be a working actor, you audition, right? Because nobody knows who the fuck you are, so you have to be seen. And so I did. I tried some auditions, never landed a role. I was so nervous the first time I ever did an audition, which I'd never experienced before because I'm not nervous about most anything. So that freaked me out, and so. But then I realized once I settled in, I don't have any stakes in it, so it kind of freed me up a little bit. And I think that sometimes when we're creative, that happens, right? We do creative outputs that we don't think are ever going to do anything other than stimulate us. And here you go, they're helping somebody else become creative, or they're showing that you have an outlet to do more of this if you wanted to pursue it, right? If I really wanted to pursue it, I could have done that, right? So.
What was more daunting, for the play or for a movie or TV role?
They're
Or
the same.
equally?
They're the same audition wise. It doesn't really matter. You prepare something. I mean, actually, the TV and movie, they usually have sides for you from the TV and movie script that you have to perform. That was actually much easier for me than preparing something. So I'm sure you've all seen, those of you who've been around a long time, we used to do the show called Time to Go Indie Now, and I used to do interludes at the very beginning. And one of the things I did in the interlude was, and I did this actually for Agent Orange as well, was the monologue from Alec Baldwin's monologue from Glenn Ross. That's what I used in my audition. That's what I did in the audition. So I did that monologue. So I learned that, and I had to learn it, and I had to learn the cadence. I had to learn how to make it my own, because that was another thing. Like, I couldn't just mimic Alec Baldwin, right? I couldn't go in there and be Alec Baldwin. First off, I don't have his chops, and second off, I don't have his looks, and I don't have his bravado, especially first time out. So I had to learn how to do it my way and be Joe in doing that, right? And putting Joe into that, which is weird. It was a weird process. Anyway, so. But yeah, I just think that creative pursuits sometimes can lead you in directions, that you never expect. So, don't be afraid of it, is what I'm saying, I guess. All right. So, everybody ready to pepper me? We're going to go into the epilogue.
Okay, but don't pepper with a cough.
All right. Well, I didn't cough. That wasn't me.
I know.
All right. So I am, as I mentioned to you guys in the chat, if you were paying attention, I am a person that is real, not a character. And I just gave it, so it's a he. Sorry. So you can take that question out. But that person has multiple pursuits within their pursuing. So they're not just one thing. They've done multiple things. So with that in mind, we're going to go down the row. I'm going to let each of you ask a question as we do. So Anita will start, then Sean, then JD, then David. And then it's randomly opened up. Let's kind of try and not have so much air time that is just quiet time, where let's try to pepper me with some questions if we can, and I'll keep track of the questions. So Anita, start us off, please.
Have you written things that are considered genre?
Yes.
Have you acted in the either TV or movie version of one of your books?
I believe I have made an appearance. I probably Hitchcocked it though.
Okay. How old are you?
Well, you have to answer a yes or no question. So
Okay. So are you old?
Not by my standards. I as Joe Compton am older. No, actually, we're about the same age, I guess.
Okay.
He's a little bit older, maybe.
Have you won an Oscar?
No. It's tragedy. All right. It's open season now. So please.
Have you ever written? Go ahead, Anita.
Have you won a literary prize?
Yes.
The fuck?
Are you American?
No.
Fuck.
Have you been involved in scientific pursuits?
I don't know No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Are you English?
I'm wrong on that. I do not know me that well. So
Who does? Are you English?
technically, yes.
Technically. Yeah.
Do you currently live in England?
Oh, God, you had to ask me that, right? Hang on, I'll tell you. Actually, it's not technically. He is English. Yes, it looks like I do.
Were you in a? Did you have a? Were you a part of a movie that was released in 2024?
I'm looking at the right now. No, actually,
No. Okay.
Do you have facial hair?
no. Well,
Is
I mean, right now I don't. He said,
Is your partner also a well-known or semi-well-known creative?
"Come on, guys, fuck."
Hey, you wanted us to pepper you.
I don't believe I have a partner, at least not according to my Wikipedia page.
Have you lived in the United States before?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So you're an English person in the 50s that should have won an Oscar but has won a literary award.
Yes, and actually, I was wrong about my age. I'm in the 60s.
In 60s, okay.
You guys are at 13 questions. Sorry.
Should you have won an Oscar for screenplay?
Yeah, I should have. Fuck
no,
yeah.
But should you have won it for screenplay or directing?
Fuck yeah, I should have.
Screenplay, okay.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I should have. I should have even been nominated. I don't think I've ever been nominated.
Never nominated, okay.
But yeah, there's at least three. There's at least three I should have won for.
And you said 60s.
Yeah, he's in his 60s. I am in my 60s. Sorry.
Can I give my guess?
Sure.
And then I'll bow out. Ralph Fiennes.
You don't have to bow out. You can still ask questions.
Okay. I'm saying Ralph Fiennes.
No.
And he should have won. He hasn't. And that guy's really freaking good.
Keep in mind, I'm a writer. I don't know that. Has Ralph Fiennes written anything?
No, I fucked up. Sorry.
I'm not an actor.
Have you been in trouble with online allegations in the last year?
Let's see. I don't know.
Okay, so it's not who you think it is.
Yeah.
We all know.
I guess I could. Let me check the news feed and see. I don't think so. I think I'm a pretty square person, but let's see. No, according to the news feed, I don't have anything that's like you fucked up.
Okay.
Do you write mystery/thrillers?
No.
Do you write horror?
No.
Do you write contemporary fiction?
Yes.
Ooh.
How many questions do we have left?
2.
Oh, okay. I won't waste it then.
Oh, I think I might know who it is, but I'm not
You're on
sure.
the right track, David. I think you are. I do.
was
Of all people here on the panel, you were the one I was afraid of with this.
I don't want to waste these last two questions. Would track be a hint at one of the things that he has written and was also made into a film?
Would track?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like
a train track?
No.
No, okay, it's not who I thought it was then. That's all right then. Carry on.
That is as far as films go.
And I'm still not understanding the question. Sorry. It's Sunday and it's cold.
60s.
Got one question left, y'all.
Contemporary book writer.
I know that's tempting to hold on to it, but we do want to end the show today.
No, never. We're never going to end. I know this is going to waste our last question. Do you also write music?
Yes. Okay. All right. Anybody want to? You, three of you have guessed this. Do you all want to venture a guess? Give it a shot.
I have no clue, so no.
Okay.
I'm gonna. I don't know. I don't think this is right, but I'm gonna say Neil Gaiman.
Nope.
He's definitely had some allegations against him.
Yeah, so I didn't know. Right? Yeah. No,
yeah.
That was a great question when you asked that. I was like, oh, this will tell. But yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically, is this Neil Gaiman without saying, is this Neil Gaiman?
Right. Yeah.
David, do you want to venture a guess?
Only person that I can think of is Ian McEwan.
No, you're close though.
Oh, really?
But you said 60s, so Patrick Stewart is the only one.
He's in his 80s.
Yeah.
He's in his 80s.
Yeah.
All right.
You all ready? You all ready to be embarrassed?
Yeah.
Embarrass us.
I am Nick Hornby.
Oh, Nick Hornby.
Melody about a boy. I wrote musicals. I've won a Grammy. I've won a Pulitzer, but I've never been nominated for my screenplays, which is a fucking travesty.
It is.
Yeah, man. And I even win an Emmy for High Fidelity, which I wrote as well. But Nick Hornby is who I am.
Good. That's a good one.
Okay, I'm not embarrassed though.
No, he's so far off my radar. I would have never gotten it.
Yeah, I don't think about him very often, but I should have done today, seeing as Man United were just playing Arsenal in the FA Cup, and he's an Arsenal supporter. So yeah.
When you said if he's English, I said Surrey, and I was like, is that in England or is that in Wales? And I had
it's a lot down south.
He's from Surrey, so that is
that's kind of where London is pretty much, basically. Yeah.
All right, so that was fun. All right, cool.
Yeah, that was really good.
It's the first time I've ever stumped the panel, so I guess I just got to be a little bit more obscure when I do these things, huh? All right. So let me go through what we're doing this week, everybody, and then we'll tell everybody where you can find all of our great panelists. Here is what we plan on doing this week at Go Indie Now. I will be releasing something I should have released yesterday or Friday, Words That Kill. I'm like super close to finishing this episode. It will go out probably this evening, so good look for that. It is the final season, and Anita Stewart is hosting. And this is a great episode. It's about killing readers' favorites. I think everybody would enjoy hearing about that pain and suffering. And it's a really great conversation. Speaking of great conversations, tomorrow night I will be doing 21 grams with the one and only Ben Meeks, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Ben,
we'll be talking about RPGing and pen making and all the wonderful creative pursuits that Ben goes through. And then following that, at 9 p.m. Eastern, a couple hours later, Vanessa Juta hosts her Conversation in a Cocktail. Her host is Kieran Kelly, so that's going to be an awesome conversation about fantasy and and fairies and all kinds of fun stuff there. And then we debut a brand new show on Wednesday night. Myself and Brian Tan are doing a Siskel and Ebert style indie movie review show, and it is called Saving a Seat. And we have these 3 films that we will be reviewing for you on our opening show. Black Circle Boys obviously is the 1999 movie, but we're doing this thing where each of us has introducing the other to something that we've never seen, and we went through his list, and that was the one I had never seen. So we talk about Black Circle Boys, and Drinkwater and Scrap are very good films as well. And so that is the debut of our new show, Saving a Seat, which we will be doing monthly for the foreseeable future. And that is what's going on at Go Indie Now this week. And then, of course, we circle back with another Words That Kill, which I believe next episode is Wayne Turmel. Do you remember what that one was about, Anita? I don't remember.
No, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But it was a good episode. I know that.
Yeah, Wayne's always awesome. So that's the next episode of After Row, and that'll be up probably Saturday or Sunday night next week, and then back to This Week in Indies. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And so let's run around the room and tell everybody where we can find each other. David, start us off, please.
Okay, well, you can find me on my website right here, davidgreenwright.com. That has all my social media and everything on there. I have just had out a collection of my urban fantasy Nick Halloran series. The first 5 cases is out now. It's called Helen Haven. This book that is next to me here is relaunching my epic fantasy series. It's out February 1st. It is, and I've rewritten the first book from scratch. It's completely, basically a new book. Same story, same characters, just told in a different way. And also, talk of creativity, I am starting creative writing lessons on January the 20th of January, 20th of January, and you can find out more information on my website right here.
Everybody go check that out. That's awesome. Cool. All right, Mr. Estrada.
Greetings, fellow humans. If I'm on the social media platform that you're on, it's going to be with this moniker. We'll see what happens after this year if I'm still going to be on social media. For now, I am. Today, I did drop the prompts for March of the Writers. March of the Writers is something that is very fun. A lot of people participate in. If you don't know what that is, look it up. There's a blog post. Read on it. And to finish celebrating the 3 Kings or Epiphany this week, I have 5 books on sale. People are actually buying them, which I'm very happy about. This includes Only Human, first book in the Human Cycle, both volumes of the Daydreams on the Sherbet Shore, which are middle grade short stories, Given to Fly, which is a middle grade novel, and Penumbra, which is Spanish horror short stories with Boricua Puerto Rican flavor, because everyone this week is Puerto Rican, and I kind of love it.
Yeah, we've all been annexed this week.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Sean?
Trust me, if it were possible to become a citizen of Puerto Rico, I would do so. So you can find me at thewickedboys.com. You can find me here, occasionally hosting this show or being a panelist on this show like I am today. We also have coming up our next Hit the Dice, which we'll be playing, this one, Sixes and Eights, the RPG I have under development, which hopefully will go up for sale in some way in February. And if you go to, if you're a convention person, I am sci-fi track director at Jordan Con and the play director at Multiverse Con coming up in October. Jordan Con's coming up in April. I'll also be at RedCon in February if you're going to be there. Hopefully I'll have 2 books for sale. Hopefully. We'll see. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. All right, Ms. Stewart, where are we going to find you at?
Well, you can find me at afstewart.ca on pretty much all the social medias. I'm still even on that Twitter X thing, though I'm not posting there much anymore. And you can find me here on Go Indie Now with Words That Kill, and over on the Shadows and Ink podcast. And you can find me tomorrow here on YouTube, where I'm going to be co-hosting for an Author Tube writing marathon. We're doing sprints all week.
Cool. Awesome. everybody go do that. Speaking of which, future Canadian citizen Joe Compton here will be doing meditation, uh, and writing sprints myself tomorrow between. Excuse me, I'm trying to get the East Coast time right. 2 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Eastern. I do 2 hours. It's a 50-minute sprint, and we start with a 10-minute meditation that's geared toward um, exploring your creativity and getting you ready to go to write. And then we go into 50-minute sprints and take a little break in between. So I will be hosting that over at the Writers Troop uh, group. If you're not a member of the Writers Troop, you should be. It's a really great group. And I'll put the link in the description. I didn't do that here for right now, but I will do that after we're done. And also, just join me now. You found us. Congratulations. Subscribe, comment, do all the wonderful things that you do to help us get seen, because that's really important so that people can enjoy these conversations like we all enjoy them each and every week here, because it is always time to go indie now. We'll see you again next week, everybody. Bye.